Have you ever wanted to hug someone you love and then 5 minutes later felt like screaming at them? Have you ever caught yourself smiling kindly at a stranger only to judge them silently in the very next breath? And here's the hardest one. How many times have you betrayed yourself, promising to stay calm, only to explode at the smallest trigger? Welcome to Mindfulness, a space where we dive into the raw, unfiltered truth of being human. Because let's be honest, inside each of us lives both an angel and a demon, constantly battling for control. I'll never forget a small but revealing moment in a New York coffee shop. The line was long, and the person in front of me was fumbling endlessly with their order. My angel whispered, "Be patient, maybe they're nervous, maybe they had a rough day." But almost instantly, the demon growled, "Seriously, how hard is it to order coffee? Hurry up." That tug of war lasted less than a minute, but it spoke volumes. It wasn't about coffee, it was about me. Thich Nhat Hanh, the Zen master whose words reshaped the way Americans understood mindfulness, often reminded us, each of us carries seeds inside. Seeds of love, patience, compassion, and seeds of anger, fear, jealousy. The one you water is the one that grows. In that coffee shop, I was watering impatience, but I had another choice. Science agrees. Stanford researchers have shown that mindfulness practice rewires the brain, making it easier to pause before reacting. Instead of being hijacked by the demon, you create space for the angel to breathe. Sharon Salzberg, one of America's great meditation teachers, calls this loving kindness. Even when you want to lash out, you can whisper silently, "May I be well, may you be well." It doesn't erase anger, but it softens the edges. This isn't just Buddhist wisdom. The Christian tradition in America echoes it too. Love your neighbor as yourself. But loving when you're angry, patient when you're provoked, that's where the real practice begins. Even Jesus, even the Buddha, knew this struggle. The angel and the demon aren't enemies to be exterminated. They're energies to be understood. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "Hold your anger like a crying baby." Imagine that. Instead of fighting your demon, you cradle it gently, breathe with it, and let it calm down. What if every outburst, every harsh thought was simply a child inside you asking to be held? The truth is, you are not your angel and you are not your demon. You are the one who chooses which voice to amplify. Every text you send, every word you speak, every silence you hold, waters one side or the other. So the question is simple and urgent. Which seed are you watering right now? What if I told you that the parts of yourself you hate the most, the jealousy, the rage, the selfishness, aren't monsters at all, but teachers? Would you believe it? Or would you resist? Because who wants to think of anger or envy as anything but poison? I used to think of my dark side as something to hide. Growing up, I believed that good people never lost their temper, never felt jealousy, never had ugly thoughts. But the older I got, the more I realized that pretending to be pure only made my demons stronger. They didn't go away. They just waited for the right moment to explode. Thich Nhat Hanh taught something radically different. He said that our demons, our anger, our fear, our craving, are not to be punished, but embraced. His words were, "When anger arises, it is you who suffer first." You can breathe, smile, and cradle your anger as if it were your own child. Think about that. Instead of pushing your demon into the shadows, you invite it into the light. You sit with it. You listen. That doesn't make you weak. It makes you free. Modern psychology says the same thing. At Harvard, psychologists studying emotional suppression found that trying to force down negative feelings only makes them more intense. It's like holding a beach ball underwater. It always bursts back up, sometimes violently. But acknowledging your emotions, naming them, and giving them space reduces their power. Neuroscientists even call this affect labeling. When you say, "I'm angry," the amygdala, the brain's fear and rage center, begins to quiet down. Science is catching up to what Buddhist monks have practiced for centuries. American meditation teachers like Jack Kornfield often remind their students that you don't have to believe everything you think. The demon voice inside you, "I'm not enough. They don't respect me. I need to win," is loud, but it isn't the whole truth. When you sit still and observe it, you realize it's just passing weather, not the sky itself. Even the Christian mystics in America echoed this wisdom. Thomas Merton, the Trappist monk, wrote that confronting our shadow self is essential to knowing God. Denying it only feeds pride. Facing it with honesty allows grace to enter. The demon, in this sense, becomes the doorway to humility and compassion. One night, years ago, I was overwhelmed with jealousy toward a friend's success. I wanted to hide it, to pretend I was happy for them. But instead, I sat down, closed my eyes, and whispered a simple prayer. "This jealousy is painful. May I hold it with kindness." I breathed in, breathed out. Slowly, the sharpness softened. The demon didn't vanish, but it became smaller, less threatening. And strangely, I began to feel more connected to my friend, not less. So here's the truth. Meeting your demon doesn't mean letting it run your life. It means recognizing that your darkness carries a message. Anger may be pointing to an injustice. Fear may be protecting you from harm. Jealousy may reveal a longing for something deeply important. If you can meet your demon without fear, you can hear its lesson without being consumed by it. Next time your inner demon shows up, don't slam the door. Offer it a seat, ask it what it needs, and then, with compassion and awareness, decide whether to act on it or simply breathe and let it pass. Because the real power is not in destroying your demon, but in transforming it. If the demon inside us thrives on neglect and denial, the angel grows through attention and care. The question is, how do we actually water the angel every day, in the middle of traffic, bills, family stress, and the endless noise of modern life? Thich Nhat Hanh gave us one of the simplest yet most powerful tools, breathing. He said, "Feelings come and go like clouds in a windy sky. Conscious breathing is my anchor." Imagine that. Your breath, something you've had since the moment you were born, can be the very bridge to your angelic side. I've tried this in moments of tension, like standing on the edge of an argument with someone I love. Instead of snapping, I inhaled slowly, exhaled gently. In that small pause, space opened up. I realized I didn't want to hurt the person in front of me. I wanted to connect. That's the angel at work. Science backs this up. Neuroscientists at UCLA have shown that deep, slow breathing activates the parasympathetic nervous system, lowering stress hormones and calming the body. In other words, breathing is not just spiritual fluff, it's biology. Each mindful breath waters the seeds of patience, kindness, and clarity. But breathing is only the beginning. Sharon Salzberg often teaches loving kindness meditation, where you silently repeat phrases like, "May I be safe. May I be healthy. May I live with ease." Then you extend those wishes to others. May you be safe. May you be healthy. May you live with ease. At first, it can feel mechanical, even awkward. But over time, this practice reshapes the heart. The angel inside grows stronger, and you begin to see others, not as obstacles or threats, but as fellow travelers who also carry angels and demons within. There's also the practice of walking meditation, something Thich Nhat Hanh loved to share in America. He would tell people, "Take each step as if you are kissing the earth with your feet." I once joined a walking meditation in Plum Village, his community in France, with hundreds of people moving silently, step by step. The peace was so tangible, you could almost touch it. Bringing that into daily life, even just walking from your car to the office, can turn an ordinary moment into nourishment for your angel. Christian teachers have their own way of describing this. In the Gospel of John, Jesus says, "Abide in my love." For many American Christians, prayer becomes the daily watering of the angel. Pausing, speaking words of gratitude, aligning with love before rushing back into the chaos of the day. Whether through prayer or meditation, the principle is the same. What you practice grows stronger. And here's something surprising. The angel doesn't only appear in moments of stillness. It shows up when you choose kindness in the middle of conflict, when you forgive instead of holding on to resentment, when you offer a smile to a stranger who looks defeated. These small, quiet acts are like drops of water, nourishing the seeds of goodness within you. One evening, after a rough day, I was exhausted and irritable. My child spilled juice all over the floor. The demon was ready. Impatience, frustration, the urge to scold. But something in me paused. I knelt down, smiled weakly, and said, "It's okay. Let's clean it together." The relief in my child's eyes reminded me, this is what it means to water the angel. It doesn't have to be heroic. It just has to be real. So how do you water your angel? Start small. One conscious breath, one kind word, one patient step. Over time, these moments weave together into a new way of being. You begin to notice that the angel is not just a visitor anymore. It's becoming the host. And once the angel grows strong, something incredible happens. It starts transforming the demon too. What if your demon wasn't trying to destroy you, but to wake you up? What if anger, fear, and jealousy were not curses, but hidden doorways to your deepest strength? I used to believe that my anger was proof that I was failing as a good person. But Thich Nhat Hanh once said, anger is like a powerful storm. If you know how to use it, it can bring rain to the fields of compassion. That idea completely changed me. The demon wasn't just an enemy. It was energy, raw and untamed, waiting to be transformed. Think about it. Anger at injustice can become the fuel for change. Without righteous anger, Martin Luther King Jr. could not have led a movement for civil rights. Without the fire of discontent, generations of activists would never have fought for equality. The demon's energy, when guided by the angel, becomes a force for love and justice. Fear works the same way. At first glance, fear looks like weakness. It makes us freeze, hesitate, hide. But fear also sharpens our awareness. Soldiers, firefighters, parents protecting their children, they all know fear. And yet that very fear sharpens their courage. The demon of fear whispers, "This matters. Pay attention." And the angel answers, "Yes, and I will walk through it with love." Even jealousy, the demon we rarely admit, can hold a gift. I once felt a wave of jealousy toward a colleague's success. My first reaction was shame. Why can't you just be happy for them? But when I looked deeper, I realized that jealousy was pointing me towards something I truly wanted, to live more authentically, to use my gifts more fully. In that moment, jealousy became a mirror, not a curse. The demon handed me a map, and the angel showed me how to walk the path. American meditation teacher Tara Brach often says, radical acceptance is the starting point for transformation. You can't turn a demon into an ally by ignoring it or pretending it doesn't exist. You start by saying, "I see you, I hear you, let's walk together." In that acceptance, the demon softens and the angel learns. Christian teachings echo this truth. The Apostle Paul wrote about a thorn in the flesh that he begged God to remove. The answer he received was not the removal of the pain, but the reminder, "My grace is sufficient for you, for my power is made perfect in weakness." In other words, what feels like a curse may actually be the soil where grace grows strongest. The demon becomes the teacher of the angel. One evening, after a bitter argument with someone I loved, I sat alone, shaking with anger. The demon was loud. "They don't understand you. They don't respect you." But then I remembered Thich Nhat Hanh's teaching, "Hold your anger like a baby." I closed my eyes, breathed slowly, and imagined cradling my anger in my arms. To my surprise, I began to feel not just the heat of anger, but the pain beneath it, the pain of wanting to be seen, to be loved. In that tenderness, my angel woke up. The demon had pointed me toward my own vulnerability, and that vulnerability became the doorway to deeper connection. So here's the shift. The demon is not your enemy, and the angel is not your savior. They are partners in disguise. One shows you the raw material, the fire. The other shows you how to shape it into warmth and light. Without the demon, the angel would have no strength. Without the angel, the demon would burn everything down. Together, they make you whole. The next time anger, fear, or jealousy rises up, don't just ask, "How do I get rid of this?" Ask instead, "What is this demon trying to teach me? And how can my angel guide its power toward love?" Because the real miracle is not defeating your demons. It's letting them transform you. It's easy to talk about angels and demons when we're sitting in meditation, reading spiritual books, or listening to a Dharma talk. But what about when you're running late for work? Your kids are screaming in the back seat, and someone cuts you off on the freeway? That's when the truth of this inner struggle shows up. Raw, unfiltered, and very real. Take marriage, for example. A couple in Los Angeles once told me they loved each other deeply, but small arguments often spiraled into hurtful words. The wife admitted, "Sometimes I know I should pause and listen, but instead I say the meanest thing I can think of." The husband nodded, ashamed. "Me too. I want to protect her, but in the moment, the demon in me wants to win." Isn't that so familiar? We don't set out to hurt the people we love, but the demon of pride or anger takes the driver's seat. Thich Nhat Hanh would say the practice begins in these exact moments. He often guided couples to pause before responding, breathe 3 times together, and only then speak. Stop, breathe, smile, he taught. Simple, but powerful. It gives the angel a chance to whisper before the demon shouts. Workplaces are another battlefield. Imagine you're in a meeting and your colleague takes credit for your idea. The demon rises instantly. That's unfair. Put them in their place. Your angel, though, might say, breathe first. Speak with clarity, not aggression. Protect your dignity without destroying the relationship. Studies from the University of Michigan show that employees who practice mindfulness respond with more creativity and less hostility in conflict situations. Again, ancient wisdom meets modern science. And what about parenting? American parents often confess that their greatest regrets aren't about the big mistakes, but the little outbursts. Yelling at a child for spilling milk, snapping at them when they only wanted attention. These moments feel small, but children remember. One father shared with me, "The angel in me wants to teach with patience. The demon wants to control. Most days, I feel both fighting inside." The practice here isn't about being a perfect parent. It's about noticing the battle, pausing, and choosing connection over control, even if it's imperfect. Then there's the bigger picture, society itself. In America today, political divides and cultural tensions often bring out the demon in us. Social media becomes a playground for rage. People forget the humanity of those on the other side of the debate. But spiritual teachers like Jack Kornfield remind us, it's not just about winning the argument, it's about remembering our shared belonging. The angel in us seeks understanding, even in disagreement. The demon seeks to destroy. Both voices are loud on Twitter, in Congress, and around our dinner tables. The question is, which one will we listen to? Even in Christian communities across the US, this struggle is clear. Churches wrestle with how to embody the commandment, love your neighbor as yourself, in a polarized climate. Some let the demon of judgment take over, excluding or condemning others. Others, guided by the angel, practice radical hospitality, opening their doors to the poor, the lonely, the marginalized. The battle is the same. It just wears different clothes. And finally, the inner battle most of us don't talk about, the way we treat ourselves. Late at night, lying in bed, the demon often whispers, "You're not good enough. You'll never measure up." The angel, if we listen, says, "You are already worthy. You are already loved." Which voice do we feed? This, perhaps, is the most important battleground of all. Here's the truth. You don't need a monastery or a meditation cushion to practice. The battlefield is your kitchen, your office, your car, your phone. Every email you write, every word you speak, every pause you take, these are the moments when you decide whether to water the angel or the demon. So the next time life tests you, and it will, remember that you are not powerless. You are the gardener, and the seeds you water today will shape the garden you live in tomorrow. By now it's clear, the angel and the demon are not abstract ideas. They show up in your daily life, in traffic, in arguments, in the quiet voice you use to speak to yourself. But knowing this is not enough. The real question is, how do you train so that the angel grows stronger and the demon transforms instead of destroying? Thich Nhat Hanh gave one of the simplest doorways, mindful breathing. He would guide people to say silently, breathing in, I know I am breathing in. Breathing out, I know I am breathing out. It sounds almost too simple. But try it when your anger is burning or when fear is tightening your chest. That single mindful breath interrupts the demon's grip and invites the angel to step forward. Neuroscientists at Yale have shown that such mindful breathing activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for wise decisions, while calming the amygdala, the center of fight or flight. In other words, you literally change your brain in the moment. Then there's loving kindness meditation, which Sharon Salzberg helped popularize across the United States. You sit quietly and repeat, may I be safe, may I be healthy, may I live with ease. Then you extend it outward, may you be safe, may you be healthy, may you live with ease. The first time I tried this, I felt awkward. My demon whispered, this is silly. This won't change anything. But after a few weeks, something shifted. When I felt irritation toward a coworker, the phrases came back to me like a gentle melody. My heart softened. The angel inside had been practicing quietly, patiently, until it became second nature. Jack Kornfield often encourages his students to tend the garden of the heart. He reminds us that practice is not about becoming a saint overnight. It's about daily training. Just like you wouldn't expect to build muscles without exercise, you can't expect the angel to grow strong without repetition. 10 minutes of meditation a day, a short prayer before bed, a mindful walk during lunch. These are the push-ups of the spirit. And don't forget the wisdom of Christian practice. Many American Christians begin the day with prayer. Not grand speeches, but simple words of gratitude and surrender. Lord, guide my thoughts. Help me love today. That's not just ritual. It's training the mind to tune into love before the noise of the world takes over. Research from Duke University has shown that regular prayer lowers stress and increases emotional resilience. Just as meditation waters the seeds of compassion, prayer waters the seeds of faith and love. Silence is another underestimated practice. We live in a culture of constant noise, notifications, TV, podcasts, traffic, endless chatter. Both Buddhist teachers and Christian contemplatives remind us, without silence, the angel's voice is drowned out. Thomas Keating, an American Trappist monk, spoke of centering prayer, where you sit quietly, let go of words, and simply rest in God's presence. Thich Nhat Hanh offered something similar, sitting quietly, breathing, letting thoughts pass like clouds. Silence, whether you call it meditation or prayer, is the soil where transformation grows. But perhaps the most powerful training is not what you do alone, but what you do in community. In Buddhist sanghas across the US, people gather weekly to practice together, to share struggles, to remind one another that no one fights this battle alone. In Christian churches, the same happens in prayer groups, Bible studies, and Sunday gatherings. Community is where your angel finds strength and where your demon learns humility. I remember once joining a loving kindness meditation group in Boston. We sat in a circle, strangers at first. Each of us silently wished well to one another. By the end, something had shifted. We were no longer strangers, but companions. It struck me then, the angel grows fastest when it is fed not just by your own effort, but by the presence of others. So here is the invitation. Don't just read about mindfulness, prayer, or compassion. Practice one breath, one prayer, one moment of silence, one act of kindness. Each time you do, you are training the angel inside to stand taller, speak louder, and guide you more steadily. Because the battle will not end. The demon will always visit. But with training, you will be ready, not to fight, but to transform. Let's be honest, the angel inside you will never silence the demon forever, and the demon will never completely erase the angel. That's not how life works. The truth is more beautiful. You are not meant to destroy one and crown the other. You are meant to live whole, embracing both. Thich Nhat Hanh once said, "No mud, no lotus." Without the mud of anger, fear, and jealousy, there is no lotus of compassion, courage, and love. Your demons are the mud. Your angels are the blossoms. Together they make the garden of your life. When you begin to see it this way, the struggle becomes less of a war and more of a dance. You recognize anger not as failure, but as a signal. You welcome fear not as weakness, but as guidance. You honor jealousy not as shame, but as longing. And in each of these moments, the angel learns, grows, and shines brighter. Think of the people who have inspired you most, whether it's Thich Nhat Hanh, Sharon Salzberg, Jack Kornfield, or even the pastors and Christian teachers across America who lived their faith with love. None of them were free of demons. They simply trained their hearts so deeply that their angels learned how to lead. They show us what's possible when we practice. Not perfection, but transformation. And maybe that's the final secret. The demon and the angel are not two separate beings fighting inside you. They are parts of the same heart, waiting for your awareness to bring them into harmony. Every time you pause to breathe, every time you offer kindness, every time you choose love over judgment, you are not only watering the angel, you are also healing the demon. This is the invitation of life. Not to be flawless, but to be awake. Awake to the seeds you water. Awake to the voices you choose. Awake to the incredible capacity you carry for both shadow and light. So the next time the inner voices rise, one pulling you toward anger, the other toward compassion, pause and ask yourself, which seed will I water now? And if you want a companion on this journey, a place where both the struggles and the triumphs of practice are welcomed, return to mindfulness. Here, we breathe together, we stumble together, we rise together. Because in the end, none of us can do this alone, and none of us need to. The angel and the demon will always live inside you. But with practice, with community, with mindfulness, they can become not enemies, but partners in your awakening.